this Lions team, not to bring it full circle, but this Lions team is reminding me a lot of the early 90s Wings when they were starting to put people and pieces together.
Yep.
You know? It reminds me a lot of that. People, man, same old Lions. I said, my uncles and who's watching it for 40, 50 years, I said, man, this is not the same team. You know, that interview with Wayne Fonz that he had just recently in that podcast that they did that, where they did that, 24-hour thing. I forgot the guys. Jeff Brisden and a couple other guys did it. And Wayne Fonz talked to him for about 20 minutes. He made a comment that, you know, and Wayne Fonz is my all-time favorite Lions coach. And he goes that this Lions team is like, he's been around football a long time. He said this Lions team is completely bought into Dan Campbell. And he sees this team just becoming upper echelon. That if this team started the season, that they could be potential Super Bowl favorites if they played like this in the start of the season. And that's why I tell you guys, this team is way different than what I've seen before. They just have they have a nice nucleus of players that are like just getting and scratching the surface. You know, just surface. And people don't remember the early 90s Lions with Herman Moore, Johnny Morton, Barry Sanders. They were just a quarterback short. Even the defense was good. They had Benny Blades, Big Play Willie Clay, Jeff Ball,
Lomas Brown,
Chris Spielman. You know, they had players. Never had the quarterback. Never. And he said that if I had Jared Goff, he said in the early 90s he thinks they would have won 2 or 3 Super Bowls. He said that. So, I mean, you know, I'm telling you, like, I was not a Goff believer. I mean, I'll tell you guys, I did not like the trade.
I hated the trade. I hated the trade.
I wanted the Panthers pick because I know that year the Lions had Jamar Chase 1, Penei Sewell 2, and they had Micah Parsons 3. They were sold on the fact that they were going to take Micah Parsons because they didn't think that Sewell was going to fall to them. That's why they went crazy in the draft board because they didn't think there was no way that Atlanta and the Dolphins, who had no line, weren't going to take them. They ended up taking Waddle and Pitts. And they had Jamar Chase number 1. They knew that he wasn't going to fall no matter what. But they had Sewell number 2 and Parsons number 3. So we could have had this team built on Parsons and Sewell, 2 anchors on offense and defense. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad at that pick anymore because, to be honest with you, he's playing like he was playing before. You know, not quite at that high level where he was throwing 45 touchdowns, but like he showed me that he's a guy who can win playoff games.
He's playing more smarter, but he's back to his old self. He's not making them dumb decisions anymore. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really like Goff at first, but he's growing on me, man. I believe in Goff now, man.
Yeah, but you gotta keep that same energy if he has a bad game, though.
Listen, since this year, I've been stuck. You can't really put it last year on him, you feel me? Because we didn't have no weapons at receiver. Swift was hurt. Our defense was horrible. I mean, so we didn't know who St. Brown was until after mid-season, so you couldn't blame that on Goff. Especially after we had Stafford at quarterback. Stafford couldn't do it, so it was going to take some time, you feel me? And then everybody got hyped up at the beginning of the season. And then the hard knocks and everything else like that. And coming out of camp, it was everybody believes in Goff. And we seen it the first couple games. That New England game, I don't know what the hell happened.
I just think that listen, here's the thing with Goff. He's going to struggle in games. Well, the New England has his number. So it's hard to I think Belichick just knows how to play this guy and just how to get under his skin. And honestly, Judon played, like, I think Sewell had his worst game. I think Becker had his worst game they've ever had. I've ever seen him in Lions uniforms. Judon was like Lawrence Taylor. I mean, literally,
Judon fucked him up.
It was a one.
Number 9.
I've never seen it.
Never seen him play like that.
I've never seen a guy dominate a game like that, ever. That was the best game I've ever seen anybody play on defense. Just one player. Like, he literally ruined the whole game plan. So I'm going to chalk that one up as a guy who was possessed But this is a big week. He's going to go against a really physical defense who gets after the quarterback, who's got 7 to 8 men deep on the defensive line, who's got some pretty fast, twitchy corners, who's got some really athletic and strong players on defense. So those little underneath throws, those windows are going to be a lot smaller. So he's going to have to make those throws. If he does this week, there should be no detractors. If he comes out and throws another 3 touchdowns and 250 yards and no picks, you got to really say hand in hand and say this guy's a guy that we can build around for the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, what happens if he throws a pick and 3 touchdowns and he still wins?
I think that's fine, but I think if he comes out and throws 3 picks and one's a pick 6 and they lose, I think we're back to, is this the guy?
I think you can't do that.
Lions team is for champion.
That's the thing. The minutia in the middle is what matters to me right for this point, because you're like, well, 3 interceptions, and well, no. What happens if it's a fiddle in the middle and we win the game, or it's a fiddle in the middle and we lose? Like, if it's a fiddle in the middle, no matter what happens, unless he throws the game-losing pick, you should still have the same energy.
I think no matter if he throw a pick or not,
this team's
still gonna have golf haters though. So
yeah, this team's 100% healthy, right? So he's got this is what you pay a guy $35 million for. So I could understand if he was missing a lot of targets, but he's got to play and he's got to go out there and play how he's played. When the thing that Goff has always struggled with golf is, even in college, going back to his Cal Berkeley days, he never was a winner. Like, he never was a guy that took his team. Now, Cal Berkeley doesn't have the talent like you, so you can kind of use that as an excuse. Okay, well, how much has Cal ever won? Even going back to Aaron Rodgers, I just think that you have to look at it from the perspective of like listen, man, this is the game where you have to go in, and I know it's on the road, but you're missing the starting quarterback. Like, this is a game they have to win. The same old Lions is where a guy has a redemption tour, and let's say Wilson throws for 4 or 5 touchdowns. That'll be same old Lions, because that's probably what happened 3, 4, 5 years ago, where Wilson is on a shitter, and then he plays the Lions, and all of a sudden he's back on the heater. So this is a big game for me. This is a benchmark, landmark game. If they can come in and dominate, I think all the hype is real across the board. So I'm hoping this is the season, man. Listen, this is a loser leaves town. They lose. Whoever loses is done. Who is on the outside looking in and needs help and probably is not making the playoffs. So, quite frankly, this is a playoff game. So I got to see how he performs. Can he perform under pressure? He shit the bed in the Super Bowl.
You're right about that. I will say that you are right about winner probably has a playoff spot, losers out. Here's what I will say: I don't care about domination at this point. I genuinely do not care. It would be nice to see, but at this point, I am so convinced that the only thing I care about for the Lions, just fucking win. I don't care how you do it.
I agree, Dominic. This is a hurt team, Dominic. You got to remember, this is a team that's reeling. So you got to put them. You got to be the one who sticks the knife in and twists it, because this team's reeling. Their quarterbacks hurt. I think they've lost 2 of their last 3.
Their top defensive lineman is hurt.
Yep. This is a game where you take the sword and you plunge it right in the chest.
And you got to do that. But that start earlier, and that got to start with the ground game, though. Especially going on the road in the cold. Jamal can't fumble. Swift got to step up. So this start with that offensive line and our running backs.
I agree 100%. That's why I told these guys last week. I know people. Dominic, you got all upset with me. I told you, bro. Listen, they got to run. I'm concerned that they're not running the ball, and I don't know why. They ran the ball more effectively in the beginning of the season. They're not running the ball well now. They're going to need to run the ball in December.
Listen,
for sure.
I think they did that because they knew the Jaguars game. And then
they didn't really run the ball in the Jaguars.
Right,
game.
that's why. Let's build Goff's confidence. That's what that was. That was a confidence builder. So now we can go back to ground and pound. And if we do know we need to throw the ball, Goff got that confidence still to throw the ball. That's what that is.
Yeah, listen, we spent so much money on the offensive line and so much draft capital on the offensive line. Now those guys have to go in and road grade, move the line of scrimmage, and dominate ball games. That's the truth. Like, I mean, how many first rounders do we have? We got 3 first rounders on the offensive line, 1 third rounder, right? So that's a ton of draft capital. Okay, like, and then they got another $10 million guy who's not playing. It was a high free agency guy, but we'll move on from that. But the thing is, they got a ton of draft capital and a ton of money involved. So that team's got our team. The strength of our team is the offensive line. We have, in my opinion, we have the best offensive line in football. It's not even close. I think we're better than Philly. But what I was
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a reason why Goff hasn't been sacked.
Yeah.
What? He's been sacked 0 times in like 5 weeks.
No, ours is good, but Philly's is the best. I got to give Philly their credit with their O-line.
Philly's got, I think a consistent 1 through 5. I think Penei Sewell is the best right tackle in football, and I think he will be the best offensive tackle in football in a year or two. He's 21 years old. I think Decker is a top 10 offensive tackle. I think Ragnow is the best center in football. I think Jonah Jackson is a top 5 guard. I think the right guard is the only hole we have, and that's due to injury. And I think that they're going to cure it this offseason. But I'm telling you, they have to. The biggest weakness, obviously, is this is the right guard. But we every week we got a new fucking starter at right guard. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
I like Brown, bro. I like Brown.
Brown's a little too weak for me. He's a center. I don't think he can play guard consistently. I like the new guy they got. The what the hell's his name?
Stenberg.
No, Stenberg played last week, but then they had the black guy who was playing right guard. What was
the dude from overseas.
Oh, is that who he is? But they benched him. They put Stenberg in last week.
I don't know.
Who's you know who I'm talking about?
You're talking about Iwasaka or whatever.
Yeah, Lishaka, whatever his name was. They benched his ass.
Kawasaki.
I thought
he's hurt. He's hurt.
Oh, he was hurt?
Mm-hmm. Check the injury report. He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. I don't think he's playing, or he's on the verge of not playing.
Oh, but they put Stenberg in last week.
Yep, Stenberg was playing last week.
Yeah, but so was it because of injury? I thought it was because of performance.
That I don't know. I'd have to check when
it's the injury. He's been out the past 2 weeks.
Okay, that's what it was then. Because I was about to say he was the best one I seen out of all the right guards they went through there. He dominated in that Jacksonville game. I thought he didn't dominate, but he played better than any right guard that was in there all season.
Yeah, but he got his ass kicked against Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was his first start, though. Yeah, I knew he was going to get his ass whipped, but at the end of the day, this team is set up, man. I'm telling you, they're a couple pieces away, and unfortunately, they need a tight end. I think Brock Wright sucks. I don't know why they're not playing James Mitchell. The guy's got 2 catches for 40 yards to touchdown. So, I mean, they got to get him more involved. And then I think they're just the running back short on offense. Unfortunately, not shit the bed, but Swift disappointed. I really, going into this season, thought that he could take a top 10, top 5 running back. Look, I thought he'd be a Christian McCaffrey, but unfortunately, injuries have derailed his career. So, and our wide receivers are all set. We might need another one, depending on what they do with Reynolds and Chark. Because
I think Reynolds he got 1 more year on his contract after this, and then Chark is
Reynolds is a 4, but Chark is the guy that I think he's the guy that stirs the drink. If you guys haven't noticed, the stuff that's underneath is because Chark is a danger, and so is Jameson Williams of going over the top. So teams are really terrified of Chark.
I think we need to resign him.
Whenever they get Chark 1-on-1, he wins. If you noticed, anytime they get a 1-on-1 coverage with Chark, that's where Goff's going.
And he's going deep. Yep.
Going deep. And a lot of teams are like, the reason why that underneath stuff's open for Amon-Ra is because they're shading over that safety because they know Chark's a dangerous weapon. The offense really took off, if you really think about it, when Chark came back. They were missing that underneath. They were missing that over-the-top threat. And I'm telling you, man, I'd love to bring Chark back. I hope they do. I don't know at what money, but Chark is a big piece. If they don't bring Chark back, add wide receiver to the list of that.
I say we gave him 1 year, $10 million this year.
Yeah, it's with incentives, it can get up to 12, but I think it's base 8. Yeah, but I would gladly bring him back at $7-8 million a year for 4 years.
Especially if we make the playoffs. Yes, you have to bring him back.
No, even without it, I think he's played great when he's not hurt. But if we can keep him healthy, he's a guy that I think he's a guy who really. Amon-Ra is our best offensive player, but the truth is, Chark is probably the second best. from a skill position thing. I mean, I'm telling you, this team changed when he came back. His over-the-top ability changed the entire offense. And I think that's what we got to keep doing. We got to make sure that we build on that because I don't think any of us want to have to go out and draft a wide receiver.
No.
No, hell no.
You know what I mean? Or go pay a wide receiver. I'd love to keep him. It seems like all of them are tight. Chark, J-Mo.
Oh, yeah, they all seem close. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's beautiful to me. And I think that Jared Goff. Do you remember Day when they were talking about how dominant that Chark and Goff were in the off season?
Yeah, and in the preseason. Well, yeah, mostly just in the off-season training camp.
Yep, they said they were unguardable.
Mm-hmm.
I think Goff loves him. So I'm hoping that he's the guy that they extend, and they bring him back. And I think we don't have to focus on wide receiver, just tight end. But hopefully we see Mitchell play a little bit more as the tail stretch comes apart. But, in this offense, tight end ain't getting more than 3 catches a game anyways. So.
But, all I'll say is, because I got to get going, I'm going to watch some SmackDown highlights because I'm still a wrestling fan. I know we're going to kick the Jets' ass on Sunday. Really just going to be a matter of, God, please just kill them. Even if you don't kill them, just win. I don't care. Just win. Win should be the number one priority of this team, and hopefully I should have Wi-Fi by then. Baloney, you better get that goddamn podcast ready because if we win, I will bring the Kool-Aid like never before.
I got you, bro. You know I got you.
Shit. Good shit. And then at me when you're in the space, bro, so I can know. Because I will be in Stick and Puck for Stick and Puck starts at 4, and I know the game is done by 4:30. So let me know when you're in a space. I will jump in that bitch, and I will bring the Kool-Aid. I should have higher energy that day today. It's just working at Meijer can be a bitch when you work at the desk and deal with customers. So
I don't even know when y'all be in spaces. I have to come check Twitter, look, and then I see you at the top. I don't even get notifications or nothing. So that's.
Yeah, well,
But anytime y'all start a space, just send me an invite or whatever. Just send me a message. I'm always gonna join in, bro.
Yeah, but just win Sunday. I will see y'all hopefully on Sunday after a win. And you already know we're gonna go undefeated for the rest of the season and win the Super Bowl because we're the Detroit Lions and we fucking hunt.